Today, Bitcoin is on the rise on one of the last trading days of 2025, and Owen Lau with Clear Street provides his outlook for crypto in the new year. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Talia Kaplan. Major cryptocurrencies are moving higher as of noon Eastern, with Bitcoin climbing past the $88,000 level. Ether rose more than 1.5% to just under $3,000, and Solana's Sol token was trading at $125.55. Now, the moves higher came ahead of the release of the Fed's December meeting minutes. Okay, let's take a look at today's top stories. This morning, Grayscale filed an application with the SEC for a new exchange-traded product aimed at providing regulated access to decentralized AI. According to this S1 filing, Grayscale aims to convert its Bittensor trust into an ETF, similar to what the crypto asset manager has done with its other private funds in the past. Now, this filing marks the first attempt to bring Bittensor's native token Tau to U.S. markets through a regulated investment vehicle. Tau is the token underlying Bittensor's decentralized AI blockchain. Grayscale's filing today highlights increasing institutional interest in AI-related crypto assets, as well as the quick evolution of decentralized AI. Now, earlier this month, Grayscale launched a spot Chainlink ETF in the U.S. and has converted several of its other crypto trusts into spot ETFs since 2024, including the flagship Bitcoin Trust and an Ethereum Trust. Sticking with Grayscale, yesterday we told you that the crypto asset manager predicts 2026 will be the dawn of the institutional era for crypto. Well, this morning, speaking on CNBC Squawk Box, Reserve One CEO Jamie Leverton said she also expects more institutional adoption of crypto in the new year. Reserve One is a digital currency holding company which plans to go public via SPAC in the first quarter of 2026. Leverton also argued that the historical 4-year cycle for Bitcoin is officially dead and discussed her outlook for crypto regulation in the new year.
I think we're going to see increased institutional adoption. Certainly, we saw that really kick off in 2025 post the election, and just getting increased support from the government, from regulators, getting Genius through. One of my other predictions is that we do get Clarity through in the first half of next year, which should bring more support to the industry in general. I think that will support the alts in particular, bringing a bit of a halo to that category that struggled a bit more so in 2025 than we would have expected. Bitcoin historically had a 4-year cycle, which would suggest we were going into a bear market in 2026. I don't think we've seen the typical characteristics of that cycle to believe that it is going to continue. I actually think we'll see a new Bitcoin all-time high this year, which would really be the final nail in the coffin for the historical cycle.
All right, for our main story, I spoke with Owen Lau, Managing Director and Senior Equity Analyst of FinTech at Clear Street. He recently released his 2026 Outlook report, and so we discussed key crypto themes for the new year. Lau also released a note on prediction markets this week, and so we also spoke about all the attention the space has been getting recently from crypto companies. Last week, you released your Outlook report for 2026, pointing to some key industry themes, and I want to focus on some of them, especially tokenization. In your note, you point out that regulatory and market structure modernization continues to shift trading and payment activities toward more transparent and automated rails by leveraging tokenization. Can you elaborate on that and take us through what else people can expect as it relates to tokenization in the new year?
Yeah, so we have seen a long way for blockchain to get the adoption. And now we are seeing NASDAQ, which is one of the biggest exchanges in the US. They have filed with the SEC to start trading tokenized equities and also ETF. They have also filed with the SEC to start trading 24/5, not 24/7 yet, but 24/5. So it shows that the TradFi companies are starting to embrace blockchain to be the infrastructure so that we can trade the assets around the clock. So what that means is we're going to see more trading activity. We're going to see the SEC will also be embracing blockchain as a technology to be the infrastructure. I think those are good signs for the tokenization to take the first step.
Now, you mentioned the NASDAQ, and I want to focus on that for a bit because when I attended Clear Street's Disruptive Tech Conference in Florida last month, I sat down with NASDAQ's head of digital assets to discuss the exchange's push to launch trading of tokenized stocks. Since you cover NASDAQ, I'm curious to get your take on the exchange's filing with the SEC to amend its rules to allow for trading of listed stocks and ETPs on its main market in tokenized form. Is this something you think we will see in the new year? And what will change if the SEC does, in fact, give the NASDAQ the green light?
Yeah, so the new administration has really changed the landscape in the regulatory landscape. That's why we talk about the modernization in the regulatory structure. And this is a good first step because when you see that NASDAQ has filed this application, it means that they have a good dialogue with the regulators already. So we expect it could happen in the second half of 2026. And I think 24/5, it's the first step. And once they get to the tokenized equities and tokenized ETF, then I think the market will shift away from right now maybe 8 hours, 9 hours of trading to more 24 hours trading, maybe in the longer term, 7 days a week. Now there's an upside and downside to that, right? Crypto is trading 24/7 already, but I think the equity markets have to catch up to that longer term.
And it certainly will be very interesting to see if that happens in the new year. Now, in your 2026 Outlook report, you also note that Clear Street expects the Fed to continue to cut rates in the new year, which could lead to several things, including higher consumer spending. What does this mean for crypto specifically?
So historically speaking, crypto is quite sensitive to interest rate cycle. When you see interest rate go up, crypto doesn't do well. But on the other hand, if interest rate goes down, typically it means that it's a risk on mode. So the retail will be more excited to get into crypto. Institution will be more excited to get into the crypto. So to me, interest rate cut, it's a good sign for the crypto prices and also crypto equities. So that's why we see this is one of the key catalysts for the crypto space in 2026.
Turning to Coinbase, since this is in fact one of the companies you cover, Clear Street gives the company a buy rating and a price target of $415 in the new year. How did you come to that assessment, and why is Coinbase a focus for 2026? I mean, your note points to certain catalysts, including regulatory milestones for crypto and new product launches, but can you elaborate on your thought process there?
Yeah, so there are a couple of catalysts that make us excited about Coinbase going into 2026. The first one you just mentioned, regulatory clarity, even though we saw the Genius Act being passed in 2025, but there is a very important bill, which is the House called the Clarity Act, but in general speaking, this is the market structure bill. We still expect this bill to get passed sometime in 2026. I know many people are working on it very hard, and there are lots of pushback on that. But we are still optimistic that this bill can be signed by President Trump sometime in 2026. So that's catalyst number one. The second one is we just talk about interest rate cut. It could happen in 2026. And then the third point, it's about many product they just launched or they are launching. So the a couple of things I want to mention: prediction markets. They also just launched an AI tool, Coinbase Advisor. They also launched a super app. They also expand internationally. So those new product launches, in particular, the prediction market, I think it can drive revenue growth and earnings growth of Coinbase in 2026 and onwards. So that's why we see there are multiple catalysts that can support the stock in 2026.
Yeah, and expanding on that, just this month, the company announced it's expanding into stocks, more sophisticated trading tools, and as you mentioned, prediction markets as part of a single app brokerage play. The crypto company is also rolling out a tokenization roadmap to lay the groundwork for bringing more traditional assets on chain, including equities. What do you think this all means for the company? Do you expect other crypto companies to follow suit?
So it was a very interesting question because when they get into the stock market, I actually asked CEO Brian Armstrong this question a couple of quarters ago, and he basically mentioned that they are not interested to look backward, but right now they go back to the stock trading, and I think what that means is Coinbase really want to converge the TradFi and crypto world. And one way they can do it is to really go backward and start embracing stock trading. And I don't think this is the end game. I think this is just the first step for them to launch tokenized equities down the road. So they need to get comfortable with this asset class and know how to trade this asset. So that's why they get into the stock trading. And longer term, I think they will launch more of the tokenized product like tokenized equities and tokenized ETF for trading. So to me, this is a good first step for them to embrace equities trading. And you also ask about what other companies would do. I think many brokers, many exchanges would come to the same, probably similar conclusion, which is you want to trade almost everything. Trade almost everything in one platform so that you can allow your customers to hedge, to use derivative, to trade stocks in a single platform.
Now, as we noted, more crypto companies are moving into prediction markets. Kraken also plans to move into the space in 2026. You put out a note on prediction markets yesterday, pointing to the rapid emergence led by platforms like Polymarket and Kalshi, which has drawn increasing attention. What can people expect as it relates to prediction markets in the new year, especially those tied to crypto firms?
I think 2026 will be a breakthrough year for prediction market because you just mentioned we see a lot of players coming into this space. Coinbase, Gemini, Robinhood, Crypto.com, Kraken probably, and also we are seeing some sports betting companies are getting into this space as well, right? Like FanDuel and also DraftKings. So what that means is it also paved a way for more products launches in 2026. The second component, which is also important, is I also see there are many key global events happening in 2026. FIFA World Cup, it's happening here in the United States. And also we have Winter Olympics. We also have the America 250th anniversary. We also have US midterm elections. So when you see there are so many global events that can get attention from the public. At the same time, you have so many platforms that can offer these event contract products. To me, this is a great ingredient for everything to come together. So that's why I think 2026 will be a breakthrough year for prediction market.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World today. We'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.